Time to check in again. City Clerk Nicole Crispo is joining us for an update on the latest Board of License Commissioners meeting. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, how are you, Joe?
Great. A very busy meeting on July 18th.
It was, yes. So we only meet once in July and once in August for the summer for the board. So yeah, we cram in as much as we can in July and then again in August.
Sure. Everybody show up for the meeting?
Everybody showed up, yeah.
Okay.
So the new police chief, Chief Kennedy, was not available. He had a prior commitment, so Detective Brown sat in on his behalf and everybody else was there, full board, 5 members.
Very good. Okay. And the air conditioning was working, I'm assuming.
Yes, it was very comfortable. Agenda item number 1, hearing regarding the request of the HouseNet Community Council for a special use permit 1-day liquor license for HouseNet Chowder Fest on September 9th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Maritime Center at Bayview Ave. And they also added their Harvest Fest at Brillfield on October 21st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. David DeBona was there and spoke about the HouseNet Community Council Chowder Fest and what a great asset it has been to the council down there. And it's a great fundraiser event, great family event. So many businesses as well as private people, enter into this Chowder Fest, and it's become quite a cult.
It has, yeah. Folks
It was bragging rights.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if they have an actual cup. Is there an actual cup? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
but I know people get all up in it, and it's a great event down there, and everybody is invited. September 9th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Maritime Center on Bayview Ave. And they've also added a Harvest Fest at Brillfield on October 21st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they'd like to do food trucks and beer truck there as well. And that was a great success last year, and people come and spend the day, families, and that all went through 5-0.
Here we are in the middle of July talking about things in September and October.
Believe it?
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
That's the way it works. Yeah.
I know. Agenda item number 2, hearing regarding the request of Harbor One Bank, 1 Chestnut Place, for a 1-day liquor license for a client event on July 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. John Mulcahy was there. This is a private event. The bank will be closed. It's about 30 clients. And Liberty Tavern will be sponsoring the food and drink there, and that is went through the board 5-0 as well.
Good.
Agenda item number 3, hearing regarding the request of Quincy Economic Development Corp. For a series of special use permits, 1-day beer and wine license for Kilroy Square Market at Kilroy Square. The 1-day license is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, July 27th through October 27th. Thursday and Saturdays will conclude on August 10th and August 26th, respectfully. Tim Cahill was there. These are just an extension of what they have there right now for the Quincy Chamber of Commerce for their 1-day beer and wine licenses to get through the season. They have some days still available due to rain and things like that, but they wanted to make sure they could go through October 27th. So that extension of the dates went through 5-0 as well.
It's basically for the big beer garden they have there, right?
Exactly. Yes, it's for the beer garden and the farmers market.
Yep.
They'll start doing Friday Saturdays only as it gets later in the season, and maybe some special events.
Yes, cornhole, I am told, is one of them.
Yes, cornhole tournament is going on, and I guess that's a very popular, yeah, very popular over there, and good luck to them. Agenda item number 4, hearing regarding the request of Recovered Souls for a special use permit for a social gathering and a walk at 9:30 a.m. September 24th at Pageant Field. The walk will begin and end at Pageant Field. Tina Cahill was there. She is running the event. It is part of National Recovery Month. She said that she'll be talking to the Quincy Police for a couple of intersections for crossing, but don't plan on shutting any streets down. This is a 3-mile walk, and will begin at 9:30 a.m. on September 24th. Then after, there'll be music and refreshments to celebrate recovery and the walk there. And that also went through 5-0. She'll be talking to Sergeant Flaherty in the upcoming days ahead in the health department regarding her refreshments and those help with the crossings during that event.
Very good.
And agenda item number 5, here regarding the request of the Wollaston Hill Neighborhood Association for special use permits, 1-day liquor license for their annual Saturday in the Park events at Safford Park on September 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. The events will run from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and include food, drinks, and live music. They're working on their bands now. Walter Hubley was there. The only change here is they used to do it in August, and now they're going to do it in September. Pearl and Lime is going to supply the food and beverage, Pearl and Lime in Townsend. So that went through 5-0. Agenda item number 6 was the late agenda item, but of course we were able to get it in here regarding the request of the Quincy Youth Hockey for a 1-day beer and wine license for a Day for Jill fundraising at 60 Murphy Memorial Drive. The event will run from 4 to 8 p.m. on August 12th. John McNeil was there and spoke. This is a game on the ice for adults, and then a fundraising event for Jill, a Day for Jill McGinnis, who passed away from cancer recently. They're going to do a tent in the parking lot and food and beer trucks. And I assume that's going to be an annual event going forward.
Very nice.
So,
Okay.
yep, that went through 5-0. Agenda item number 7, here regarding the request of the Rural Lodge of Freemasons for a common victual license for the premise located at 20 Greenleaf Street. Rob Hugh was there and spoke about the Freemasons now at 20 Greenleaf Street wanting to use their kitchen. And so they just want to make sure that they're up to code. And so, of course, an inspection will need to be done before they do that. But again, that for the Freemasons for a common victual license at 20 Greenleaf Street went through 5-0.
Okay, this one raised my eyebrows a little bit. I didn't realize that they needed that. I'm thinking, are they going into business?
So they didn't really get into it too much, and I think they plan on taking it slow, but maybe perhaps if they were going to utilize their hall and their kitchen facilities there, or perhaps letting some people at a later date, not right away, but maybe rent out their kitchen for prep work for maybe outside events.
Okay, all right.
And agenda item number 8, here regarding the request of Casbah Food and Pastries for a common victual license for the premise located at 23 Copeland Street. Proposed manager Fiath Sufan. Proposed hours of operation 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Ms. Safan was there. This is going to be Mediterranean food, Lebanese food, at 23 Copeland Street. She does do work now at the Kilroy Square. She does do some work down there, and she has another place too that she does some work, and that she wants to open in Quincy and feels it'll be a good place between Boston and Quincy for her clientele. And that will be opening sometime in September. They're just going to do some lighting renovations and cleanup and things like that. And we'll get fire prevention out there before she opens up in September. And that went through 5-0 as well. Hearing regarding the request of 51 Copeland Street LLC lodging home license for the premise located at 4951 Copeland Street and 53 to 57 Copeland Street due to a change of ownership of these existing lodging homes. Jeff Gershman was there and spoke about opening under new management with security on hand for a transitional home, transitional families and transitional housing for men, women, and couples. And so the health department commissioner Castley spoke to them about having the dumpster and having it baited and things like that. Counselor Devine was there and spoke about having open communication with him during the time that they're opening and beyond, of course. And fire prevention, of course, will need to go out before occupancy permits are given out by the building department, and that also went through 5-0. Number 10, here regarding the request of Nana Corp doing business as South Transit Yellow Cab Mass Quality Ride for a Motor 2 Hackney livery and garage repair license for the premise located at 42 to 54 Water Street, formerly Freddie's Auto Sales and Service. Attorney Ed Fleming was there. Abby Nana, who owns Shore Transit Yellow Cab and Mass Quality Ride, was there as well. And Abby has been an owner since 1995 in our city. This is for cabs, for his cab company. Also his Mass Quality Ride, and then repairs on cabs and selling vehicles there as well. The cabs mostly go home at night with the drivers, so there wasn't too much emphasis on too many cars on the lot. He has submitted an extensive plan to beautify that location there, and it looks 100% beautiful, and you know, there's all kinds of buffers for the neighbors in the back, and he's very mindful of that neighborhood there and wants to be a great neighbor and doing the parking lot over and making the existing building beautifications ahead of going in there and starting his business there. So that being said, that went through 5-0 as well.
The old Freddy's, right, Nikki?
of the old Freddy's, yes.
Okay.
Agenda item number 11 was continued until August hearing at the request of the applicant, and that was for GoPuff. They have some more details to still finish filling out. So in other business, we are rescheduling the August hearing from August 15th to August 22nd. All good with the board. That went through 5-0. Request of the Friends of Ruth Gordon Amphitheater added the following rain dates to their previous scheduled Friday nights, July 22nd and 29th, August 13th and 27th, and September 9th. And that was all approved by the Parks Board and then brought before us. And if we were all in favor of that, due to the amount of rain that we've had lately, you start to feel bad for these outdoor venues that are trying to have some great nights at our parks, which are absolutely beautiful. But so we were happy to extend those dates to them, of course. And the date of the 2023 August Moon Festival will be August 20th.
Very
And
good.
that was
Yeah,
the agenda.
it was a busy agenda for sure.
It
Like you said, it's
certainly was.
just one in July, so you cram it all in there.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, since last we talked, Nikki, the election has been pretty much settled for this fall, right?
Yes, so due to the slate being not forcing into a preliminary, we are going to go right to November. There wasn't enough people to force the preliminary for the August 29th date that we had. So therefore we're moving ahead to November 7th. Yeah, it's the first time in 16 years for me. And I talked to Joe Shea before that. He said he only knew of 2 other times in history that there was no citywide preliminary. So, we're going to move forward to November 7th. We're still taking people's second card for the census. We appreciate everybody getting that back into us. They landed in the mailboxes a few weeks back, and we're working on them now, and we're getting a good response, and we appreciate that. And if everybody can just sign it and fill it out so that we can update and have the best voter list available for the November election, and then going right into the presidential primary in 2024, which will be in March. So it's so important to get those census cards right back to us. And we appreciate that, and it'll help you and everybody else at the polls on election day when they go in, that they're not on the inactive list. It's not whether you vote a lot, and we understand those people that don't miss an election, and we hate to do it, but it's whether you answer the census, the city census, or not.
Return it in the postage paid envelope, right?
Yes, the postage paid card this time for the second mailing. You just rip it off and mail it back to us, and we'll update you here in our office. You can certainly call the election department 617-376-114443 with any questions you have regarding the census, regarding the elections coming up. We put it on the city website with a link on the main page, and certainly on the city clerk's page, down to elections with the upcoming election calendar and the changes that were made.
Okay. Will there be early voting and mail-in voting for November 7th, Nikki?
There will. There will. You'll have, we're looking at now whether we're gonna send out a postcard or not. We haven't in the past, but where there wasn't a preliminary, we're gonna weigh it out here and see, with our Board of Registrars, whether we want to go ahead and do that. It's not something that has been done in the past, but people are getting used to it. So there'll certainly be one going out in late December, early January for 2024. But this will be a first time if we end up doing it for the city election. But we're going to weigh it out between, like I said, our Board of Registrars and decide if that's something that we want to do. But always, you can certainly request one at any time. We have, you know, you can mail in a request with a note, or we can mail you out an application, or you can get the application online.
Very good. So we'll be talking more about that as it gets closer, I'm sure, and we'll check in with you on August 23rd, if that's okay, after the next
You bet.
license board meeting.
That sounds great.
Thanks a lot, Nikki. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
You too. Bye-bye.